What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to EIDL Program expires December 21st. Get more money through reconsideration now. It is Wednesday, December the 16th, 2020. Please do me a huge favor, give this video a thumbs up, hashtag EIDL with your comments below, share this video all over social media, and if you'd like me to help grow your business when this idle madness is over, I ask that you please subscribe right now and make sure you hit the bell. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am here with a trusty cup of coffee. We're going to get right into it because this last video that I did was 27 minutes, and I said, what? I can't share that. That's way too long. So if you want more money, whether it's through reconsideration for a denial or reconsideration for increase, you've come to the right place. So pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee, maybe an ice cold beer or a glass of wine. Here we go. All right, as I mentioned, we're waiting for the stimulus package. In my last video, it should be voted on by midnight before the government shuts down. We'll have to see. There's definitely, as I mentioned, EIDL grants in this new stimulus bill. The question is, of course, going to be how much and what are we going to have to do? So stay locked to this channel for more information. If you want loan money, you have until December the 21st. That is the deadline. They'll probably extend it, but as of right now, they've got a gigantic pile of $125 billion of unspent EIDL. And I have to believe that the loan officers, most of them have been outsourced to Rocket Mortgage. They're highly incentivized for Christmas bonus purposes to get as much of that money out the door in the next 4 or 5 days. So listen up. If you are a small business owner, sole proprietor, or independent contractor with a legit side hustle, and you have not applied for an EIDL loan, that's an economic injury disaster loan at the SBA.gov, now's your chance. This is not, unfortunately, for a new startup. You must have incorporated prior to January of this year, AKA before the pandemic started. So if you've been around for a year or two and you're a small business, whether you're a one-person shop or you've got 200 employees, go to SBA.gov. At the top is a coronavirus link. Scroll down and you can get an EIDL loan within 72 hours or less. You do need, however, a 570 credit score. They use Experian. So if your score at Experian is north of 570 and you incorporated prior to the pandemic, you can get money in as little as 2 or 3 days. All right. To the many, many folks who asked me to do a reconsideration video, we're going to do two aspects. One is reconsideration for denial. One is reconsideration for increase. You may have seen me do this before. You have seen other channels, you know who they are, who have walked you through the reconsideration process. I have helped dozens of people. In total, this channel has raised about $60 million since late March, early April. I can tell you with absolute certainty the following information. Number one, you cannot call anyone in the reconsideration department despite what anyone else on any other channel is telling you. They're walled off intentionally. In fact, when they call you after you file your reconsideration, it's often from a blocked cell phone number. Why? Because they don't want 600 people calling them back at midnight on a Sunday. Where's my money? Where's my money? Where's my money? So if you get a blocked caller ID number on your cell phone or a toll-free number, usually 855, answer it. It's probably your loan officer working from home, probably an outsourced vendor through Rocket Mortgage. And they've got 5 days, ladies and gentlemen, to get as much of that $125 billion that's sitting there out the door. So there's never been an easier time to do reconsideration. Even if you've already failed once, you can do it again. So here is the email address. There's actually two, but I'm going to give you the one that I use. Paul David Charlie, pdc.reconsideration@sba.gov. Some of you have done PDC recons, RECONS at SBA.gov. They both go to the same place. But I use, once again, pauldavidcharlie.reconsideration@sba.gov. Now, what I would do on the reconsideration for denial, which we will cover first, is just forward the denial letter that the SBA sent you. So months ago or even yesterday, if they sent you, you didn't show sufficient economic loss, which is just a computer generated AI bunch of bullshit. You filled out the application and for whatever reason, it doesn't indicate that you lost money. That's a crock of shit. We all know that. So I would just forward that email, that rejection, to pauldavidcharlie.reconsideration@sba.gov. In the subject line, reconsideration for denial, and then your app number. So reconsideration for denial 3334, etc. That's what you put in the subject line. In the body of the email, and don't get tripped up on the exact words, watch this a few times, but this is generally the 3 or 4 sentences or paragraphs you want. First one, hi SBA, I'm reaching out to do a reconsideration for denial. Very simple. Again, you just forwarded the denial email so they can scroll down and see everything. The second sentence, attached are my tax returns from last year, bank statements, you're going to want at least 6 to 9 months, and I'll explain why in a second. And form 4506T as in Tom. 4506T as in Tom, you can get it off the internet. That gives them access to your tax information. Very simple. Just those 3 forms. They may ask you for something else, but 95% of reconsiderations for denial, especially around economic loss, it's tax returns, it's bank statements, it's 4506T. So it's hi, I'm reaching out to do a reconsideration for denial, attached to those 3 forms. And then in section 3, you want to tell them who you are, what you do, and a website if you have one. As an example, we are a 6-person law firm in Brooklyn, New York, that was growing at 20% year over year until the lockdowns began in March. You can find us on the internet at www.joesaccountingfirm.com. Very simple. Reconsideration for denial, meaning they rejected you for a lack of economic loss. Section 4. With all due respect, we suffered an economic loss of 70%, totaling the amount of $70,000 between the months of March and December. How are we going to show them that? Very simple. You give them 6 to 9 months of bank statements. Section 4. As you can see, in January and February, we brought in $10,000 per month. Once the lockdowns began in March, our revenue dropped to $3,000 a month and remained that way through December of 2020. As such, we clearly suffered a $7,000 per month times 10, $70,000 economic loss. Section 5, therefore, we ask for an EIDL in the amount of $70,000 so we can do our payroll, get caught up on rent and utilities. Really appreciate your cooperation in this matter and look forward to doing business with you. Thanks, Jason. That's it. That's about 5 or 6 sections. So let's go through it real quickly one more time. In the subject line, reconsideration for denial, your app number. Forward the denial email to pauldavidcharlie.reconsideration@sba.gov. Sentence 1, hi, I'm reaching out to do a reconsideration for denial. Sentence 2, attached are my tax returns, bank statements, at least 6 to 9 months, and form 4506T as in Tom that you signed. We are a small law firm of 6 people, etc., etc., etc. You can find this on the web at www. As per our bank statements, we clearly suffered a $70,000 economic loss, and you explain in very simple terms that from March through December, your revenue dropped from $10,000 per month to $3,000. Therefore, we ask for an EIDL, economic injury disaster loan, in that amount, so we can and make sure it's approved expenses, so we can get caught up on payroll, pay our rent, and our utilities. Really appreciate your cooperation and look forward to doing business with you. It's that simple. Doesn't have to be that exact word, but that's a general format. Now, a reconsideration for increase. You want more money. I did that 4 months ago. I made a couple of mistakes. I'll share them with you right now. In the subject line, reconsideration for increase, all caps. Don't ask me why, but they want it in all caps with your app number. Same format. Hi, SBA. I'm reaching out to do a reconsideration for increase. Attached are my bank statements, tax returns, 4506T as in Tom, and 2202, form 2202. That's your liabilities. You can again get that off of Google. And then the format is pretty much the same. We are a small law firm, etc., etc. You can find us on the web. This is different from a denial, however, because you're not being rejected, you're asking for more money. In other words, they already gave you money and now you want more because the pandemic has gone on much longer than expected. So in section 4, reference the following. I've done this many times. Let me tell you, there's a formula before I give you section 4. The general formula for the loan is gross revenue minus cost of goods and services divided by 2. So whatever loan amount they've sent you in the last 10 months, it was supposed to be your gross revenue, let's say it's 100 grand, minus your cost of goods or services, let's say it's 20 grand, that's an $80,000 number, divided by 2. What should have happened under the CARES Act is you should have gotten $10,000 within 72 hours, plus another $30,000 of the loan, because the grant is in advance. But they rationed the damn thing at $1,000 per employee. That's what should have happened under the CARES Act. That's what we've been fighting like hell to get fixed. Hopefully, we're going to get some good news in the next 72 hours. But the formula for the loan was supposed to be gross revenue minus cost of goods or services divided by 2. If your number is not what that was supposed to be, let's say that the real number that you should have gotten was a $50,000 loan, but you screwed up your application and you only got 20, you've got 2 choices in the next section of your email. You can say, the formula, according to Ms. Javita Carranza, is gross revenue minus the cost of goods and services divided by 2. We did $100,000 in 2020. Our cost of goods each month are 20 grand. Therefore, we should have gotten $80,000 divided by 2 or a $40,000 loan. So if they sent you 20, you ask for another 20. You should get it easy peasy. Another way you can do this, if your amount, let's say your amount is correct. You filled the application out, you were supposed to get 50 grand and you did. But because the pandemic, and this is important, it's worked like clockwork in the last month or so for some people I know. This pandemic's gone on longer than Ms. Carranza said it was intended to be, and that's 6 months of working capital. So in section 4 of the reconsideration for increase, you can say, as per Ms. Javita Carranza, head administrator of the SBA, the EIDL program was supposed to be 6 months of working capital. Well, the pandemic has now gone on for a total of 10 months, maybe even 11 months by the time that you fill this out. As such, we are asking for an EIDL in the amount of X. Now, the worst that they can do is tell you no. So yes, I would ask for 11 months of working capital. I've had people do this. Now, some will say, no, just do the 6 months. It's up to you, ladies and gentlemen. You can ask Ms. Javita Carranza and the SBA for 6 months of working capital. If that's more than they gave you, they'll give you the additional amount. But what I've had some people doing, and you're not hearing this on any other channel, is say that this pandemic has gone on longer than 6 months. I am asking for 11 months of working capital. What's the worst they're going to say? Well, we can only give you 6 months. Okay, great. I've had people get that 10 or 11 months of working capital. What they will do is they will really drill down on Form 2202. So you want to put on that form, this is a mistake I made. I left out some expenses. No. The guy told me, Jason, my loan officer, stop trying to sell me. Stop trying to tell me that you're a good credit risk. I want to hear how bad it is. So on that form, you want your payroll. That includes yourself, your rent, your utilities, your business credit cards, your cleaning services. Any and every legitimate business expense goes on that Form 2202. That's your working capital. And if you can show that you've got $8,000 of working capital on there, again, this is not the formula. They may push you back to the formula. They may not. Just say my working capital needed per month is 8 grand. Times 10 months of this forced lockdown, I need a loan of $80,000. The worst they're going to say is the most we can give you is 6. Okay, fine. You gave me 20, now I can get 48. That's plus 28, I'll take it. But I have had people, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me when I tell you this, in the last month or so, saying, because the pandemic has gone on much longer than 6 months, I need working capital of this. And that's Form 2202 times 9, 10, or even 11 months, however long it's been since you've been locked down. The worst that can happen is they'll push you back. Thank you much for your consideration. Really look forward to doing business with you. Ladies and gentlemen, your loan officer will ask for more forms or more clarity. Only send the email once. I know it's frustrating, but if you keep sending the email, it starts the process all over again. So watch this video again. You're going to want to attach those 3 or 4 forms. Send the email one time to pauldavidcharlie.reconsideration@sba.gov. And if you stuck around this long, the bonus tip that can really get you pushed over the finish line much quicker is get a hold of your 2 senators. Have them send you a privacy release form. Tell them that you're doing a reconsideration, maybe even forward them the email that you sent the SBA. Hi, Senator so-and-so, and you need to call them on the phone and get someone on the staff to send it to you. I just did a reconsideration for denial or increase. Here's my account number. I need you to send me a privacy release form to sign that basically gives your senators powers of attorney to call the SBA or send them a private email. One of my constituents just did a reconsideration for increase on such and such date. I need to know the status of that reconsideration. And I can tell you, because most of these loan officers and paralegals are young, working from home, when a Senator Cruz or Rubio or Big Ben Cardin taps them on the shoulder and says, I need to know where this is, you can bet your ass they're dotting their I's and they're crossing their T's. And I've seen it cut the reconsideration time almost in half. There you have it, my friends. I hope I covered this as openly and as honestly as possible. If you have any questions on reconsideration or loans in general, make sure you put them in the comments below. And until next time, I love you guys, and thank you so much for watching.